Love is not all. Edna St. Vincent Millay. Love is not all. It is not meat, nor drink, nor slumber, nor roof against the rain, nor yet a floating spar to men that sink and rise and sink and rise and sink again. Love cannot fill the thickened lung with breath, nor clean the blood, nor set the fractured bone. Yet many a man is making friends with death, even as I speak, for lack of love alone. It well may be that in a difficult hour, pinned down by pain and moaning for release, or nagged by want past resolution's power, I might be driven to sell your love for peace, or trade the memory of this night for food. It well may be. I do not think I would. Please excuse the dirty marks on the page. The cat sat on it. So, this is a Petrarchan sonnet. Yes, it does have the rhyme scheme of a Shakespearean sonnet. It does have the 3 quatrains and the rhyming couplet, but the information is divided into an octave and a sestet with a volta. If you look on the right-hand side of the page, in purple there, so despite having the rhyme scheme of a Shakespearean sonnet, the division of content or subject matter is Petrarchan. So there is an octave and a sestet and a volta, which is a turn of thought or argument, and that is indicated by the word yet. So, octave. Love is not all. So what all is love not? So the colon there is indicating a list. So the poet has told us that love is not all. Okay, so what particularly? The specifics. So it's not meat or drink, it's not food, nor slumber, doesn't give you rest, nor roof against the rain, doesn't give you shelter, nor yet a floating spar to men that sink and rise and sink and rise and sink again. It doesn't fill the thickened lung with breath, clean the blood, or set the fractured bone, so it doesn't heal. A spar is a pole of wood, like a mast. So if you think of a shipwreck, everybody clings to the planks and bits and pieces of the wood floating in the waves, and that is a more round piece of wood, so something that would have broken off the mast. So it can't save you. It can't help you survive. So these things are all tangible and they are all practical. So food, drink, sleep, shelter from the rain, something that you can cling to in order to survive, healing, putting breath back in the lungs, cleaning the blood, setting the fractured bone. If you're a bit confused about cleaning the blood, what they used to do was bloodletting. So if you had a fever or you were ill, something along that line, they would make a small incision, they would let some of your blood flow out, they would then stop it up again. The wound would heal and you wouldn't bleed out. But the idea was that there was something in the blood that was making you ill, and so you get out the bad blood, so new blood could be generated from the blood marrow in order to help you. Dates way back when of people didn't understand about blood and blood marrow, and they thought there were demons inside of you, so get the blood out. And then as technology and medicine progressed, there was definitely this understanding that illness, something in the blood goes everywhere, you're ill, must be in the blood. I think the closest that we have today is like a blood transfusion, but that's putting blood back inside your body because you've lost it all. Generally, you don't want to get rid of your blood. Bad idea. So love is not all. It's not all these practical things. It can't help you survive, it can't help you thrive, it can't help you feed yourself, etc. But the poet says, many a man is making friends with death, even as I speak. Why? For the lack of love alone. So even though love cannot give you these practical necessities of day-to-day living, people are committing suicide because they don't have love. So that making friends with death is actually a euphemism for suicide, for taking one's own life. And then it becomes a bit more personal in the sestet, the last 6 lines. And the poet says that in a difficult hour, if I am in pain, if I am moaning for release from that pain, or if my resolution against something is being broken down, I'm being nagged by something that is needed. So I know that the poem says want here, but the idea behind that word is, like if you are wanting food or something, so something is necessary, you're not getting it, you've been really resolute, you've been very determined, but that now starts to break down. The poet might be driven, might be motivated to do what? Sell your love for peace. So there is a person that the poet is speaking to. In this situation, as they address this person, I might want to give up your love for peace, for a bit of calm, for less anxiety, for, release from the pain, just a moment of calmness. Or I might trade the memory of this night, so the night that she is sharing with this person, the memory of it for food. It well may be, so it's a possibility, maybe, I do not think I would. So what's happening here is, in the octave, there is the understanding that love is not practical, can't see to day needs and necessities. And she acknowledges that people who don't have any love, people who are lacking love, they are willing to commit suicide because of it. And then she makes it personal and says that there are some situations where I might be tempted to give up the memory of a good night, to sell love in exchange for peace and food. It's a possibility, but she doesn't think she would. So even though love is not practical, the poet herself admits and acknowledges that love is important to her. The memory of that person is important to her. The relationship that is shared between the poet and this person that she is addressing is important enough that she probably wouldn't give it up, even if she needed to. So a few things here: fractured bone, if something is broken or cracked. We've done spar, pole of wood, like a mast. Resolution in this context is not like a New Year's resolution. This is a firm decision. This is talking about determination. If you stand resolute, you can't be swayed. You're not given over by whim. You're not just going to change your mind, in the snap of a finger. The making the friends with death is personification and euphemism together. So it's more tactful than saying they commit suicide or they kill themselves. Making friends with death is a little bit easier to swallow. But also, if you're making friends with death, it kind of comes across that death is a person and you are making friends with him. Yes, I did say him. Death is often portrayed as as a male, even though it's a skeleton in a cloak. But that's anthropomorphic personification, which I will do a lesson on another time. Yeah, so if we had to do tone and theme, it's the idea of love, the idea of death, contemplating a life without love, importance of love. Yeah, so any of those things can fit for a theme. The tone is a bit different because you've got the octave and you've got the sestet. So in the octave you are looking at practicality, logic, reasonableness, quite frank, quite blunt tone. And then in the sestet, in the last 6 lines, there is an earnestness, there is a vulnerability on the part of the poet, there is an openness. So that would be the tone. Yeah, and that's basically it.